management cut them out without the union's approval and still expected workers to show up without any coverage. Please cancel your Post-Gazette subscriptions online or in print. Pittsburgh Sportsline supports the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette Union Strikers. Frank Fanera, owner of Olive Oil's Pizzeria and the Hillcrest Shopping Center on Route 88. Call them at 412-831-1900. Every Tuesday night, Olive Oil's Pizzeria provides the host and the amazing volunteer crew with an XL pepperoni pizza and a full steak hoagie. They are delicious. Olive Oils is proud to support Pittsburgh Sportsline and the volunteers at BPTV. Stay Joey strong. Joey Fabus died at 8 years old of brain cancer known as DIPG. Since then, the family has come together with community members to create the Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation, a 501c3 nonprofit. Since being founded, they've raised over $100,000. Go to jfccf.org to learn more about DIPG, to help spread awareness, and to see how else you can support and donate towards the fight against this dreaded brain cancer. Always Be Smiling, a 501c3 designed to help children and families in need of kidney transplants. The B stands for Bennett, whose memory is embedded in this organization by his parents, Kristen and Dean. Despite the challenges he faced in his 16 and a half years of life, Bennett always had a smile.
How much money are new ones? Tell me, I'll find
Ask
the money
Dave Cable.
to get
Oh,
new
we're back.
ones.
You're retired. Oh, we're live. Thanks for watching those promos. We just have these discussions off air. We won't repeat what Smoke and Jim said or anybody else here. So we're going to carry on. Thanks for watching the promos and supporting us. Just wanted to shout out, Bethel Bounty is on Sunday at Crown Plaza. I'm hired to do 50-50, so make sure you get 50-50s. That means you pay cash, and whatever's in the pot, you get half of that. Last year it was over $1,000, so come on out. And there's 20 plus restaurants, all the foods you can eat. And you know I like to eat. It's great. They have baskets like you cannot believe. You buy some tickets. Sometimes there's TVs and everything else. So come on out. Penguin tickets. There's lottery tickets. Bring a quarter and you can scratch them all off. But it's a fun night. and it's 6 o'clock at the Crown Plaza. It's right here in Bethel. Pardon me?
5 p.m.
It starts at 5. Oh, I'm wrong. I thought it was 6.
5 to
All right.
8.
All right, 5 to 8. I didn't have my flyer with me, so I'm freewheeling it. They didn't ask me about the promo, but I'll be there. I'm a trustee on the Bethel Park Community Foundation, so come on out there. All right, we got to talk some sports. Lots been happening, especially on the last day of, well, we won't talk about that till we get going. What's on your mind, Smoking Jim Frazier?
Thanks, L. Levine, the talking machine. And if you want to green, you got to see Levine. I tell you what, next week I'm coming out early. I got a taste. My taste buds is running rapid. I'm going to Pasta too. Is it back open now, Levine, the talking machine? I got a certificate. I got a gift certificate.
We're going to, seriously, this is a serious disclaimer. We don't like to talk about anybody negative, especially businesses in our area.
Place.
So Smoking Jim, you got like 3 demerits on here. You're one more and you're off the show.
You're going to feel real bad when I tell you
Yeah.
what we're doing. I'll talk about that during my What's
it's-
on Your Mind.
Yeah,
You're going to feel real bad.
You crossed the line here, buddy. You're a good friend and a comedian. But we had a guy on our show once that we shut him down because he was talking about right where they're going to be. So your comments so unprofessional.
Well,
Try again.
well,
Yeah.
L. Levine, the talking
We're
machine.
going to clip that out too. So
2 years ago, on this very show and 50 other shows that I do across the country, I said the Pittsburgh Steelers draft will be a bust if they don't draft Jordan Addison in the first round. And the Pittsburgh Steelers didn't. What did they talk about the whole offseason? They needed another wide receiver. They wouldn't have been talking about if Jordan Addison was on the team. You know what they've been talking about? Who's the best young receiver on the team? George Pickens or Jordan Addison? Jordan Addison in a year and a half got 12 touchdowns. George Pickens in 3 years got 10. Both of them are super talented. They should have listened to me. I didn't get no credit for it. I said it'd be a bust of a
Smoking
draft.
Jim, you were right. You were
Thank
right.
you.
Now, do you want to talk what they did today to answer that question since you're a scout?
We'll talk later, but you can't.
I'm
you
just trying to
cannot-
tease them. All right, we'll shut them down.
I
then.
love
We'll
what
shut 'em
they
down.
did because you can't teach 6'4", 220, and Mike
Are you
Williams.
teasing for your segment?
And Mike Williams
Okay.
does not have to be an every down player. He can just come in and do his thing and be fresh. So I did like the pick. I don't like giving up draft picks, but I like that particular pick.
Well, with the round draft picks they gave up, it's not much.
5th round?
Yeah, that's not
Let me
much.
see. Tom Brady went in the 6th. Antonio Brown went in the 6th. Bart Starr went in the 15th round.
For somebody living in the past, what's been going on in our drafts for 15 years?
Good point.
All right, sorry, I have to correct you because you've taught me.
And can I say about Jordan Addison, he had the benefit of playing on the other side of Justin Jefferson. Don't forget that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's not any good. I'm just saying
true,
that
See how
he
they
was
don't
good at
see how
Pitt.
they don't give me credit.
that does that,
I'm
that
not-
is
True, though.
true. That
is
doesn't
true.
hurt.
Yeah,
Well,
that
to
is
both
true.
of you, he was very good at Pitt. And with all the alumni that talk about the golden alumni, they couldn't come up with enough money to keep him from going to a small
USC.
school called USC, not
And they-
Upper St. Clair.
And they told me he likes scotch.
Well, you would know that being a non-drinker. So Smoking Jim would give you the credit. Mario Tempest said, "What's up, guys? Thanks, Mario, for tuning in." Ann Harder said a minute or two, no sound.
Mad Dog 2020.
Our Pitt guy who posts everything about Pitt, Bob Jeffrey Middleman's watching. Great guy there. Pete Kasich, our friend's watching. All right, Nick Callis, what's on your mind? And
Oh,
let us know.
well, I'm in a really good mood, actually, this week. And it's been unlike many other weeks that I've had. I'm down 32 pounds, so that's, what are you doing?
I see you voted.
I did vote, yeah.
Right,
So that was good. That was not one of the
Smoking
highlights.
Jim-
I just,
Smoking Jim's breaking every rule. We don't talk politics or bitcoins anymore because of Smoking
It could
Jim.
be my fault because I wore the sticker. I should have known that I was on this side of the desk this
Let
week.
me try to, because people go, Al, sometimes you're not that nice. Well, he makes it easy. All of you, if
Look at this guy.
anybody watching our show, wherever you are in Pennsylvania or around the world and United States, get your vote in before 8 o'clock. I don't care what politics you are and believe in, what party you're in, or what your opinions are. It's our right as an American to vote. Another disclaimer against Smoking Jim. He can never show me when he last voted.
I voted today.
A lie. Nick Callis,
All right,
now you can go.
Let's go back to
Smoking Jim's
the good news.
He's
So,
close to being banned tonight. It's very close.
through 3 weeks on a weight loss program, I'm down 32 pounds, so that's exciting. Very good stuff.
All right, Slim.
Yeah.
We're doing the thing, so that's very good. So I'm
There's
happy
a
about that.
6X guy telling you you're slim.
That's okay.
6X.
Just because he's not slim doesn't mean he can't judge slim people. That's
No, I'm just saying.
all right. Well, everybody relax. Hold on. We're getting too far away from the
We went in a
from the
rabbit
goods,
hole.
right?
His
I got a
rabbit
lot of
hole.
stuff to go through. So
We got
let's,
time.
let's keep going.
Look at the
So-
timer. We haven't spent a minute yet. We're
Right.
good.
So
Carry on.
there's that, which is good in my personal life, which is great.
We're happy for you.
Now, the reason why Pasta 2 is involved in topic of conversation, if you haven't heard, BPTV was doing football games, and there was a whole lot of fees you have to pay for when you try to do playoff games. Regular season's free, playoffs cost. And Pasta 2 is nice enough to partner with the Bethel Park Blackhawks Boosters program, the football program's Boosters organization, to put the money together to give us the fee that it's going to cost for us to do every football playoff game that Bethel Park's in going up into towards the championship. So if Bethel Park advances this week, we'll get to do the semifinal WPIL Class 5A round as well,
It'll be
whoever they
over
would
after
play.
next
So
week.
Pasta 2 will be the official
Negative.
sponsor. The Pasta 2 will be the official sponsor of the broadcast coming up on Friday, so that does deserve a clap. Pasta 2
Congratulations.
stepped up, and again, like, not too many people stepped up before when we were trying to do this at first. Now a lot of people are stepping up because I think that they see
Tell
the
them
value.
about more, want to help out.
Yeah, a lot of people want to help out, so we're going to see.
Thank
I'm not
you,
going to
Bethel.
name them right now because they're not official sponsors yet. And since the semifinal game doesn't exist yet, we don't know who's going to be sponsoring what. For that game, we have to take it 1 week at a time, and that's exactly what the football boosters is going to do. They're going to take it 1 week at a time for us. So I don't want to give anybody any publicity that they haven't yet,
Well, I just wanted you to
done business with us
let
for-
them know that
No,
other
people are interested, and
they're
that's
supporting it.
Yeah, people are supporting us, and that's what I wanted to thank too. I wanted to thank the community pretty much too, because it took a lot of people to start the conversation, and the fact that BPTV is on the map now for live sports is something that I know Dave Cable's proud of. Because he's been the facility director here for years. I know
Way to go.
a lot of the producers involved are proud because this is something that's never been done before.
I'm
and of course,
proud.
I'm also taking a lot of pride in helping orchestrate this stuff too, and the students that help run the productions as well. They deserve a lot of credit for being novices at this and really just like exploring the interest. I think that they're all doing a great job, and so my heart is warmed just to see the community come together. BPTV, really reach a pinnacle, in its heydays here. So, I'm proud. Now, we can't do an internet stream. I do want to make that disclaimer as well. You will need cable
Yeah,
television
please tell them.
to watch, because there's another group that has monopolized the internet streaming part of high school sports, which I don't agree with, but I'm not going to, do
Well,
that
they're
here.
in business.
Right. Business, whatever, when money makes the world go round, we know that. So, but if you have cable TV, right, Comcast 21 and Verizon 32, you can watch the game live. We will post the game afterwards, though. The rule is we can do it 24 hours after the fact. We can post it on the internet, so we will definitely be doing that to Blackhawk TV, the YouTube channel, and we will be rerunning it. We've paid. We also have the rights to rerun it as many times as we want on BPTV, so depending on whether they win or lose, we'll be airing that as much as we possibly can and give Pasta 2 the proper recognition for all that they've done. I'd also like to thank Sydney was her name. I forget her last name. She had a couple on Facebook that I saw, but she reached out. Jim Gaskeb was also part of orchestrating this too. So there's so many people to thank, and I'm so grateful. And since it's the month of Thanksgiving, I think it's appropriate to be just ultra thankful. And I'm in such a good mood because it's really great. It's Al and I were talking about this before the show. It's good to see the community come together, and it's good to see that like all these wins can come together. There's so many wins across the board for the sponsors, for the students, and then for us here at the facility. So thank you. That's what's on my mind.
Thanks. And this better not be negative because you're done tonight. This is it. If it's negative, shut his mic down and we'll take a little break. And he's
Please
off
don't.
the
I mean,
show.
for me. Right? Roberto Clemente for me. Come on.
What you gonna do Thanksgiving?
What am I going to do? What do you
I
mean?
mean, because of the diet, everything.
So the program that I'm on actually lets you pick and choose between what proteins and healthy fats you want. So I actually might be able to have turkey. I'll
White
probably
meat,
just stay
baby,
away
white
from
meat.
Yeah,
White
I'll
meat.
probably just.
Absolutely.
Why are you? Oh.
No, I'm being serious.
Oh, I get because he heard white. It's white.
Check-
If you white, you all right. Your turkey's
Red
white.
meat.
It's all right.
Nick,
What are we doing?
Nick, I got a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Smoking Jim,
Yes.
what is your family going to bring from all over the country to your house for Thanksgiving?
Chitlins.
Okay, thank you. He just barely made it under. He's up to here on me. The next one is off.
How about some of that newfound pumpkin pie?
Guess what? I gave him his first piece of
Yes,
pumpkin
it was
pie.
good too.
That's 2
2
years
years
ago.
ago.
we're
See,
sweet-
I know.
we're
I
a
was
sweet
throwing it
potato-
out.
We're a
Ron.
sweet
So good.
potato.
All right, we
podcast.
got to get away from Smoking Jim and his rabbit hole. Chief McElroy's going to pump you up. He's been voting for years, and he voted for Smoking Jim again as a write-in.
thank you, sir.
Smoking, to clarify, it doesn't know that you can write in anybody's name on a ballot.
Yeah.
And guess what? It means nothing. Johnny Mariano said there was sound. I think it was on Ann's device. Good show, guys. Great job always. VIP. Thanks for a great show.
We
Al,
did have-
Smoking and Rhodey.
We had a few seconds of silence during the promos. I think that's what it was. So
All right.
nobody's crazy. It was an audio issue.
And scratch that remark, Johnny. Now you know the inside scoop, like when you've been here, and you got Michael in there. So,
Well, it was
We got
partially
it.
my fault, but that's
all right, we're never going to get through these little things. But Nick was at fault for that. So we're going to move on. Jane Leffler, hello all. Thank you. All right, let's go to Mike Rhodey. What's on your mind finally? And please bring sports to this show.
I'll do my best.
Whatever you can.
I hate to say it. I should probably save this for the road rage
say it
section.
now.
But I tell you what's on my mind is general frustration with pretty much all the teams. It's not
Okay.
not horribly bad, but I'll tell you why. All three of my teams are frustrating me right now. And the least frustrating is the Steelers, and I'll tell you why. Mike Williams, pretty much everybody knew they were going to bring that guy in. I don't know why they waited. What's very frustrating to me is that they didn't get Hopkins. I mean, why would you not get Hopkins? You were basically outplayed so completely and thoroughly by the Chiefs, who became better by getting the best receiver out that's out there on the market.
Yeah.
And they got him a couple of weeks ago, so he was able to do what he did last night. Much to people's...
Without hardly any practice.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the guy is one of the best receivers in the last 10 years. I'm not saying he's as good as he was, at his prime, but would you rather have him or Mike Williams?
Guess what? He
So-
doesn't have to be.
Exactly. So you let the Chiefs, who are already a couple of notches ahead of you, get even more notches ahead of you by bringing that guy in, and you bring in Mike Williams. Mike Williams is, to Jim's point earlier, he's a big target. He's a nice target. He hasn't been healthy since the Reagan administration. But, so...
That's the 80s.
That seems like the last time he was healthy. And I know because I've had him on my fantasy football team 2 years in a row, and he never played.
Little disclaimer, he wasn't born yet.
Well, I know. I'm doing it for effect. Bear with me.
Well,
The
other two guys did it
the Bush
too.
administration.
Why
The
doesn't
Bush
everybody
administration.
carry
The
on?
first Bush. But anyway,
Well, I'm going back to Reagan.
yeah, so I
Carry on.
hope he delivers something, and I think he will, and it's a nice ad. And as I've said, I think with Russell Wilson being just an accomplished quarterback, you're seeing that Van Jefferson and Calvin Austin aren't completely bust worthless. You've got a quarterback who, he hit Calvin Austin on that touchdown pass before he made his break. He threw the ball. That's what they've needed. So now we know these guys aren't completely worthless. That's fine. But it would have been really, really nice to have somebody better than Williams. And again,
Right.
the fact that Kansas City beat them to Hopkins is just beyond me. I don't know how they let that happen. They should have. I mean, I don't even know what they gave up for him. But whatever Kansas City gave up for Hopkins, they should have given up a third to get him there. I mean, now go all in right now. You've
What
got
about a first-round pick?
You've
Just
got
get
a
him?
young team that's a
We always
nice core,
suck on our
but
first-round pick.
but you also got some aging guys. T.J. Watt hasn't won a playoff game yet, right? So anyway.
Those are good points.
Who else I'm frustrated with? The second on my number two is, of course, my moribund Penguins. They're almost like a dog that almost needs to be put down at this point. It's bad. And I know that Malkin had a nice scoring streak at the beginning, but I don't think the guy moved 5 feet one way or the other the entire time.
He's done it the last couple years.
It's
yeah.
tough to watch, and I don't know what they're going to do. I've said it 100 times that they never should have brought back those guys. And to throw now I get it, Carlson. You got rid of a bunch of guys to get Carlson in, guys you didn't want, but you gave up another first-round draft pick.
Right.
It's not going to get better for these guys. It's going to get worse. You've got a goalie you paid $25 million to for 5 years. You pretty much already fired him in his second year.
Well, going down
right,
the
and it's
AHL.
it's not good. But my number one frustration is with
Listen.
my dear Panthers. My goodness, it's okay to lose down there, but to get absolutely destroyed like they did. I mean, you know it was bad when the kicker, who hasn't missed a thing all year, missed super wide right. I was like, this is not good. Those horrible missed tackles. That offensive line and the quarterback, probably, kind of one and the same reason, have taken steps backwards every single week. I'm not sure what they're going to do. I think they just had obviously a little bit easier schedule and they're hitting some better teams.
Yes.
But,
Yes.
I wouldn't have minded a loss. That's okay. I didn't expect them to win the national championship this year. They're young, still very, very young.
No, they are.
Freshman
They got
quarterback,
talent.
a lot of young guys, a lot of talent. But to go down there and just get absolutely... it's a couple weeks ago I said, Pitt, avoid pulling a Pitt.
Yeah.
They pulled a Pitt. And
we know what that
just when
is.
you think something's going on, they break your heart. And I'll tell you what, that Narduzzi isolated quarterback system has plagued them for years. I've said it. That's why they brought him to Pitt. He had a great defense at Michigan State, and it was built on, he had NFL corners at the time at Michigan State. They brought him here, and now they're doing the same isolation game, and this game was exposed it more than any other game I've seen since Narduzzi has been here.
Right.
Those guys couldn't cover anybody, and worse, they couldn't tackle anybody.
Right.
And that was made very evident. But just to have such a thud was really, really disappointing because, again, they lose that game 30-23. I'm okay, that's no problem, but just to get destroyed like the way they did. I mean, hopefully they bounce back. Like I said, young team, but that was pretty frustrating.
Well, I'm not a fan of Narduzzi, and you have a 3% thing that they do for the teams.
It's a little higher in college.
Well,
it's a little higher in
I'll
college.
just say this. I have yet to see him cross the 2% mark to boost up players. I played with coaches, no offense to your comment, I don't know if you did, but they brought young kids in, made them play better than some guys that played football at church leagues and everything else and became starters. And it was because of the coach yelling and pushing them and showing them what to do to get better. So I'm about 50-50 on what a coach can do. 'Cause I've seen it.
It's more
No, but
it's more
I've
in
seen
college.
it. Yeah, well, when I get to the pros, I think of Chuck Noll. They said he was a great teacher.
Yeah.
And that's where I do it. When you're talking about all these guys that take the money and run in a year or two, I'll give you the 3% all day long.
Well, but there you go. And, with Narduzzi, what better are they really going to do? Because they got Paul Chryst, and everybody knew that was a warm-up seat for him to go back to Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Right? So
We knew that.
I'm not sure what else they can do besides bringing in a level of Narduzzi. I don't
Well,
think
how about-
Narduzzi is really the problem. They're
wait,
a second-tier college program. That's okay.
They're not top tier.
But-
We haven't been for years. But look, they had Whipple in with Kenny Pickett, and in the 5th year he passed Danny Marino in 3 years. But he did make him come over the sideline, and he had a pretty good offense against Little Sisters of the Poor and Clemson and a couple other teams. So that's where I thought coaching did make a difference with Narduzzi.
It did.
And my thing is the leadership means stuff. You work for a business, a big business. What would you do without the leadership that brought you where you are today?
Yeah.
So that's where my little thing there. Then I want to give you a bright light because I'm not negative Ned with smoking, even though, what a night here. It's unbelievable. My best friend's blown up. How about because we have a future Hall of Fame quarterback threw 26 touchdowns last year, can lead receivers all over the field, only had 8 interceptions, and guess what? We don't have 8 men in a box. We have a running game. Dan Moore keeps falling down and Najee's running past him. And you got other guys that are just standing in front of a guy. And because you don't have 8 guys in the gaps, there's actually ways for Najee to go sweep left and right.
But you know what? And I've said it all along, though. Look what a quarterback did for the Steelers.
I
okay?
agree. I'm trying to promote you. Yes.
Right, but
Yes.
that's how much this league is too overly dependent on quarterbacks. I've said it for a long time, and I'll
Yeah.
keep saying it.
You can.
Because, look at just that little bit. You bring in a quarterback, and everybody's better. To your point, they're not playing 8 in a box anymore. They have to. It changes everything, and that's why Patrick Mahomes will win the Super Bowl
I
every
predicted
year.
3-peat.
They're 8-0. They're not even
no.
playing that good yet.
I don't
Okay,
care
they're
about
playing
that.
their best game last night. They're getting better, best defense. But as long as you have a
You're
quarterback,
taking my segment.
sorry, go
That's
ahead.
all right. But I predicted the beginning of the year they'd 3-peat. And for whatever reason, whether the games are rigged or whether they got players or whatever else, or the NFL wants it, and we'll get into that in my little segment because I wanted to bring that up after watching last night's game. But my point was I agree with you 100% on the quarterback because it's all quarterback driven.
It's too
And it
overly
used to
driven.
be,
on
you're
quarterback.
young enough to know it took almost 5 years for college quarterbacks to come up and play. And now you see it in a year, they're a bust.
Yeah.
Or in 2 years or 3 years, they can't even
Look
play.
at Sam Darnold. Sometimes after 6 years,
Well,
it
he
takes
saw
that long.
ghosts, and look what happened since.
Yeah, right. He was
So,
the,
I
he
mean,
was the
he
ghost
was
guy.
seeing ghosts. And look what he's done. They got rid of Kirk Cousins, signed a huge contract, and Sam Darnold's got the Vikings at the top.
Yeah, absolutely.
No doubt about it. Then Jordan Love, everybody was talking how great Karen Rodgers was, and look what Jordan Love has done.
It's when you draft a quarterback, it is a total crapshoot, right?
Well, before we go to my
total
segment, since you talked about quarterbacks, I don't see a plan for the Steelers for next year with a
Russell
quarterback.
Wilson will be back. I'm glad you brought that up. I was
wanted
hoping
to,
someone
'cause you've
would.
been
Yeah,
hinting
I
at that.
think that what I'm hoping is that his wife makes more money than he does, right?
Yeah.
And Denver's still paying him $40
he's
million
got
next
$38
year.
million right now in his
Exactly.
pocket.
I'm hoping he comes back. They want to make it respectable for him. They don't want to make it seem like he's coming back, at a minimum wage deal again. They'll have to pay, but it's not going to be for $40 million
Did you
a
hear
year.
what Smokin' Jim did when he said he's, believes Russell Wilson should sign for $40 million a year for 10 years?
Those. Let me tell you. If you're here to hear first.
He said it.
Those contracts are not going to. I think Trevor Lawrence was the straw that broke the camel's back. You're not going to see $50 million contracts anymore. It's just not going to happen. Because if you
Watson might have broke
if
that?
you sign them and you don't get it 100% right, your team is dead for 5 years.
Are you
Right?
speaking about
So
Cleveland?
I really think that you're not going to get these guys getting $50 million a year anymore. It's the money's going to start getting spread elsewhere. The owners are going to start taking a stand. You heard it here first.
Good segment here, and he's not talking badly about Cleveland, but you're the mistake on the lake. We have empathy for you. We got a couple other people. Mike Marker, our Marine friend in L.A., helping boxers in the community out there. Susan Strandberg liked since the Reagan administration, LOL.
That's my cousin.
I know. Well, that's why I shot it out. That's why I'm helping boost them up here. Somebody's mother, Margaret Rohde, hello to all enjoying the show from Rochester, New York. Handsome panel, Nick and Peggy, our biggest fans in Rochester. We salute you. Thanks for doing it every week. And all the rest of you, whether you're here or around the country, look, we got L.A., we got Rochester, New York, and some people, they call it stalking. Yeah, I see you there. No, they're not. What's on my mind? I already teased it. Chiefs are going to win the new record, third Super Bowl in a row. Never been done in the NFL. People were saying Najee was a bust and washed up. Look, over 3,000 yards his first 3 years, 2 100-yard games the last year because whether Open Door Moore can block or not, Najee runs by, and his shirt has all kind of green on the front, but I guess it goes with black and gold. So now, how about Taylor Swift has a curse on her boyfriend?
Wow.
This is a curse. Smokin' Jim loves him. He was done the first five games. Terrible. Couldn't do anything. What's he done the last couple games? Smokin' Jim, I don't know if you know, this is Travis Kelce set a record last night.
14 catches.
14 catches. The first guy over 35 like Smokin' Jim that caught 35 passes in the NFL. How about that for another? Wow. The fans are saying these guys are washed up. Well, it's because of fantasy leagues, which I don't play, and they're frustrated. Look what the team's doing. Kansas City has a pedestrian team, and you can look up pedestrian. They haven't hit anything first stride, second stride, whatever, but they got somebody that's the best, Mahomes. Look at how he throws a ball. He's hitting guys in the hands, and they're dropping them. Last year, their team led the league in drops. And what did they win, Mike?
They might have won that championship thing. What's it called again?
Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I knew you could be my straight guy. Thank you.
See, people were saying the Patriots were getting done, a few years
Bingo.
ago when they were on the top, and
they had the best quarterback.
they forgot to lose after a while. That's all.
Well,
Yep.
Different.
that 6th-round draft pick, Brady, that they got that became the GOAT, like Smoking Jim. But then how do you have the best coach in the NFL? They keep him as a GM, and he can't get players to replace Brady or anybody else. What have they done?
Quarterbacks, yeah, Mike, you're
So-
on to something.
Oh,
I'm
it's
pumping Mike
ridiculous.
up.
I've said
How am I doing, Mike?
The only thing they're not going to get better quarterbacks. They're not going to get more Pat Mahomes. I've always said, get rid of allow 2 guys in motion. Get rid of the illegal man downfield. These illegal shifts drive me out of my frigging mind every week. Where it's like
How about
a 30-yard
the big-
pass down the field, illegal shift. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Well, how about the big lineman that-
Make it easier to play quarterback is my point. Make it easier to play quarterback.
Yeah, but how about the shift with the lineman all the way out where the receivers are, and he comes in motion and goes across the team, and they block and run? How about that creativity? And then here's the thing, with all this motion, could they really call it on every play or only when there's like a touchdown pass that gets called back? Just want
That's
to
what
share
it seems.
that.
That's what it seems like, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's what it always seems
Well,
like. But there's little things that they can do. Like I said, they can only
Give me one, 'cause
Only
then we'll move on.
only 5 guys all have to be in the line of scrimmage. How about
Exactly,
that?
yeah.
Everybody else can be in the backfield and running around, whatever. I'm not saying
Can
make
they move?
it arena league. Maybe 2 guys are allowed in motion and don't have to set for that sec. Little things like that are going to make the quarterback position easier to play and going to make it a
think
better
about that.
chance for more teams to
And
compete.
you guys are allowed to interact with us if you want to make a point or a question. Don't question Smoking Jim because he'll go back 5 years from now and say he was right. So,
You made him sad. He hasn't talked in
well,
10 minutes.
I'm serious that Michael's going to shut and Marco are going to shut the mic off because I've done it on the show in the past, and he knows I'm telling the truth. He'll be the second guy to have that done to him, and that guy's gone, no longer with us. But it's like a family. For all of you out there, and whether you tell the truth or not, but tell me one family that doesn't have an argument or disagreement. Okay, we'll move on right now.
Do we look like a family over here?
Well, I consider you all part of my family. You're my extended family. 13 years. I got like 50 more family members that have worked with me the last 13 years. So I consider you family. Who buys you birthday cakes?
That was a big treat. I was 1 month then.
I know.
Do you realize I've been here for 4 years? Next week we'll be having that little...
My hair was I had 3 extra dark hairs now. Now it's I don't know what's going on. I checked the mirror today and I go, I got a few in there. But no, it made it. But it's like your grandfather buying you a birthday cookie cake.
Or
So-
my... Yeah, it is like that, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm that
Remember,
old.
it is. Nepotism.
All right, there. That's why I had to bring it up. He's
Look
my
how he
straight
got it,
man
yep.
over there. I got my right straight guy and side man, and my left side man.
Uncle Al's really an uncle, isn't he? Uh-oh.
There used to be a show where Uncle Al's the kiddie's pal. In this day and age, you can't say anything like that, but it was hilarious back on Laughing or whatever back then. Linda may remember those days. All right, we got to go to Fiction and Fact. I hate to say it, with Smokin' Jim's Almanac.
The talking machine. Roy Jones Jr. made a song that says, y'all must have forgot I lifted the curse on the Steelers. How can Kansas City go to the Super Bowl when I'm predicting the Pittsburgh Steelers is going to the Super Bowl?
No. The claim, you said they're going to it, so we don't know. I said they will win.
Kansas City?
Yeah, Kansas City's going to win the three-peat.
But the Steelers are going to the Super Bowl.
Well, you're allowed to hope. You're allowed to say outrageous things.
But
And I didn't forget. I'm very distinct in my comments, and if I'm wrong, I admit it.
L. Levine, the talking machine,
Yeah, go ahead. And good luck with that prediction.
They made a huge. Everybody knows I love Justin Fields. He's a tremendous athlete. I would have traded him today. Sometimes you got to stick your neck out to
I was hoping
reap the rewards. The Pittsburgh Steelers didn't. They're going to lose Justin Fields at the end of the season and get nothing in return but give up a 6th-round pick. But the fiction and fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac, I used to do a show in February right around, signing for college
Oh,
day.
okay.
And we had one.
What was it called?
I forget.
He does so many.
And we would have the best seniors in high school in
I know the
southwestern
name of the
Pennsylvania
show. I know
on that show. And one time we had maybe one of the greatest running backs in Western Pennsylvania history from Woodland Hills by the name of Miles Sanders.
Yeah.
And Miles Sanders come on the show, and he put on a Penn State hat. And I pulled him to the side. I'm like, Miles. I mean, he could have went anywhere almost in the country, had 50 scholarships.
Yeah.
He could have started on any team.
Yeah.
I said, Miles, Penn State got one of the best freshmen in the country. Now, this kid only started about 4 games for Penn State that year, but if you've seen him and you've seen what he did in the weight room in high school, Miles never heard of him. Evidently, he didn't have maybe a father to guide him through the recruiting process. He goes to Penn State and plays behind Saquon Barkley.
Did you
who
see
was
his
only
run?
That's why I brought it up. I've seen everything in football, L. Levine and Talking Machine. I've never seen that.
I never seen that.
I never seen
And
the
I'm older than you.
360, and then you hurdle a guy
Backwards.
from behind.
Backwards he went
Clean.
360.
The guy's a freak of nature right then and there. If I had a vote, which I got a Heisman Trophy vote,
How could that be?
if I had a vote, I would have voted for Saquon Barkley right then and there, MVP of the league. He's having a great season. I'm so happy for that kid. But Miles ended up, luckily, Barkley went to the pros after his junior year.
Yeah.
And
They
Miles
do that
had,
now.
Miles had one senior season, made the most of it, ended up going in the second round, but he lucked out.
Poor guys in Carolina now.
Yeah, there's a lot of times if you don't use it, you lose it. You play behind somebody for 3 years, you might not be the same back. But
I want to bring up.
luckily, he didn't listen to me, but it still worked out.
What do you think about Saquon being a loyal guy? He didn't want to leave the Giants, and look why he had to leave them.
Well, sparring partner mentality. Yeah,
What?
sparring partner. That's what they call a sparring partner mentality.
Oh, really?
A lot of times when you're a sparring partner, when you get to a real fight, you're used to not throwing because you can't throw against the better fighters. If you're Sugar Ray Leonard's sparring partner, you can't hit him. So when they get in a real fight, they kind of freeze
You're
up.
saying
So,
he was?
yeah, he's so used to being in New York and being loyal. I'm glad he's back in Philly. That's where he was born. And he was born in New York but grew up in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, but it didn't hurt him like the sparring partner of Sugar Ray Leonard.
Exactly.
Just wanted to bring it up. All right.
Jim, do you remember who Barry Sanders sat behind for 2 years in college?
Thurman Thomas.
Thurman.
Thurman
Yeah.
Thomas.
He was great.
That's why.
Think
to this-
about how good he had. Barry Sanders sat for 2 years.
But
behind
Barry
him.
Sanders is
Amazing.
probably one of the worst. That's why I always say,
Here he goes.
and I'll let
Barry's
it go
going. He's
after
not
this.
wrong.
I always say Barry Sanders was never going to play because he's not a practice player. And he's a quiet kid. He's humble. He sits on the bench like Justin Fields. But Barry Sanders, that's why we say you got to put a guy in the game and see what he
gotta
does
counter
because some guys are game players. And Barry Sanders, once he got into the game, everybody's seen the magic. Yes,
Smoking
sir.
Jim, I got to contradict you because you've been
Because
contrary
Barry
all
Sanders'
night.
son set the bench for 4 years at Stanford.
No,
of course,
no.
he played behind Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah,
though.
well, sometimes you have something called luck. In sports, I always say I'd rather be on the lucky team because you always win. When you
Yeah.
don't have it and you have a good team, you don't win. But
And Walter
I know,
Payton's son
I know
wasn't
one
much.
of the greatest guys who's in the Hall of Fame and is a legendary Steeler. He was a terrible practice player,
Franco Harris.
and
Yeah.
you didn't mention him.
Yeah, why would I?
He's a Hall of Famer. He's a Hall of Famer. If this proves your point. Oh, sorry. I'm supposed to support you. Forget about it tonight. All right. We got to check the time here.
Yes.
Oh, we got 14 minutes, Nick, so
We got plenty of time.
you can put a whole bunch of stuff out there to counteract what we had to get rid of because we're going to cut the show the first 2 minutes.
Okay, great.
All right, so you can go extra. We got Nick VIP Callus time, 10 seconds right now. Get him a napkin.
Wow, we're doing a show. It's very fun. Thank you for joining us. So I guess I got a few minutes to talk, so I will say
You got extra.
I found an old-fashioned way to communicate with the staff. We're having a little bit of issues with the communication headsets, so
Nick, we didn't notice the phone
no, but now I
swinging.
have time to talk about it. I just think it's
Okay.
interesting. Chance thought it was amusing. Chance says on
I do
camera
too.
for us. So I typed out a message in the Notes app on my phone, and then I threw the phone, and Vinny picked it up, relayed the message to
We
Chance.
appreciate that.
So I'm amused. So if you ever want to get somebody's attention without, while being subtle, that's a good way to do it. Just throw your phone
and
with
it
a message
barely
on
disrupted anything Mike and I were
No,
saying.
you just kept talking, so
Yeah,
that was great.
you were
So,
good.
it was all
You
Mike's.
got all your
what's on your
points
mind
in,
was
plus a
going on.
couple bonus points.
All right, so
For Peggy and Nick.
all right, so let's I don't know, let's rehash some things. I mean, a lot of what these two talked about there for the last few minutes was I don't disagree with anything. Pitt's terrible. No, I'm just kidding. They'll be fine. They just, tough way to lose.
They
Not
lost the game,
It's
that's
not
all.
an inspiring loss. You know what I mean? Sometimes you have inspiring losses like, darn, they were so close. This was not that. And a lot of things went wrong, and we move forward. I'll be tailgating next week, by the way, outside Acrisure Stadium with the fans, so that'll be exciting, and I look forward to watching them not do that again. We hope. I think they'll be fine, to be honest with you. I just
Why?
think that was a tough loss because I have blind optimism.
Okay.
Unlike Smoking Jim, wherever there is unconditional pessimism, there is my blind optimism to
You know
counteract.
what? I'm glad you moved from here where we're positive all the time.
I feel like I'm a hero when
And
I
you
sit
can-
over here because I'm just the guy, right?
You're,
I got the magical touch with this man. Look at him.
you're the counterbalance to that. Yeah.
Very good. So,
Great point. Now carry on.
all right, what else we got here? The Steelers are also fine. They're going to be great, and if it's tough because I do think the Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl as well. But just when you think the team's going to win the Super Bowl, they don't.
Right.
I thought it was last season. We're like, oh man, they can't win the Super Bowl. Taylor Swift's that would be too much. And I bet $100 that the 49ers would win, and I lost my money. We talked about that in February. Tough.
By the way, my disclaimer is if you don't gamble, don't start. If you do gamble, bet the opposite of
Or you-
Smoking Jim.
You can be healthy now too.
Nick, we don't know his
Right.
record.
I bet on one Pirate game a year. I bet on one random NFL game a year. I bet on the World Series one game out of the year. I won that this year. It was the game the Yankees won. I picked it. I said they're not going to get swept. They're the Yankees, and they didn't.
Well,
And
Nick,
we're going to
you're-
talk about that later too. And I bet on the Super Bowl, and I think that that's healthy, right?
Okay, well, the difference is he's not a degenerate gambler like Smoking
No,
Jim
I
and
wouldn't
Pete
bet.
Rose.
I wouldn't bet against the Pirates every game throughout the
Okay.
year, especially not now because I think they're going to get better. They just acquired Trey Cabbage from the
Yeah.
Houston Astros, so we're making strides.
They're keeping hope alive. Carry on with this positivity,
Right.
Nick. I'm
So,
pumped up. More.
Okay, so the Steelers, though, I think that they're going to give you. I think they're going to give you a good run in the playoffs. I do. I think Mike's right. Again, Mike said a lot of stuff. Mike Rohde over there, quarterback has helped the team, and a lot of the good aspects of players have been exposed and presented well because the Steelers do have two competent quarterbacks that can go in and seem to do well. And Russell Wilson is the superior. I'm not going to say he's not. I'm
good
just sad
comment.
that they had a bye week because I want to see more. And I think it's an intriguing season that we're going to see here, considering that also a lot of the AFC North teams that we watched in the first half of the season did not play very well, right? The Browns did not perform as well. The Bengals have really been exposed recently, and so the second half schedule doesn't look all that much.
You forgot about the Ravens.
No, they're doing well. Well, the Ravens did watch a game against the Browns, so I guess you're right. They're not.
I had to bring it up.
Yeah, okay, you're right.
I do watch. I
Yeah.
watch that.
No, I know you. That you're right. I still think that if there's a formidable foe for the Steelers, the Ravens would be a tough team on the schedule. Though the Steelers have dominated the Ravens over the last 6-7 years, so you will see. But yeah, I mean the Steelers have been doing better than a lot of the other teams have done. And for that, I mean, it just makes them all that much more exciting, and it makes the second half schedule not look as tough. 3 games in 10 days is still looking kind of rough, so we'll see how they do there.
Yes. What about injuries this time of year?
Yeah, so we'll see. I mean,
That's
it's just
the bad thing. You need to be lucky.
But they're entertaining, and I think that's where we got to start. Over the last few seasons, they have not been entertaining for the right reasons. They've been ripe for parity. I'll say because they're just not a good team, right? So, and then we'll do the World Series. I really wish the Yankees would have reverse swept the Dodgers, but Garrett Cole is. I don't like Garrett Cole. I don't know if I ever talked about in depth of my opinion of him,
Give
which
us
I
a
think
minute
can come
or
out
two
here
of
now
it.
because
Yeah, we got bonus
I'll go one
time
more
here.
minute here just to rant on Garrett Cole. The first time, so I was always taught as a baseball player because I pitched a lot. My travel team taught me it was a real good lesson. Never show up your fielders if they make an error; they already feel bad enough.
Ooh.
And I remember in 2014, it was in Cincinnati. Andrew McCutchen misplayed a ball in center field. It wasn't even like an error. I didn't think it was just like a weird read, and the ball was not fielded by him. And Garrett Cole, they showed on replay, Garrett Cole just went, "Come on, bleepity bleep," because Garrett Cole likes to swear. So, and I was like, McCutchen, you did that to McCutchen? You're young, right? Why are you doing that? So, I kind of lost a lot of respect for him when I saw that happen, and then just to see how much more of a bad attitude guy he's been, and the Yankees. Garrett Cole was a Yankees fan growing up, so for him to opt out of his contract immediately, that was really dumb. It was an interesting move because, where's he going to go? I don't know who's going to be able to afford a contract like that and want a guy with that kind of attitude who is now becoming on the wrong side of prime age.
That happens.
Right, and so guess what? Now they're working on a new contract because he opted out. The Yankees were like, we don't care. And then Garrett Cole's like, "Oh, come back. Let's do an extension. Let's try again. I'm not actually going to opt out." So, yeah, I don't like him. I think that he's a head case, and he's not really productive on teams that he's on. And I guess if one shining beam comes out of the Yankees not winning the World Series, it's that Garrett Cole is also still not a World Series champion, which hurts me to say, but he sucks. I don't like him.
Well, then how bad did you feel when he didn't cover first base?
That was just dumb. I mean, you always got to sprint. I mean,
I just wanted to hear
that's
it.
routine teachings from the time you go to
Little League.
No, not Little League because you.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, I mean, at 13, 14 pony league age, right? Because now guys can lead. Right?
Yeah,
You got
13.
faster runners. Usually the second baseman in Little League goes to first. That's what we were always taught, at least in Green Tree. But once I got to travel ball, you got taught at 13, 14. Sprint to the bag as a pitcher. Wherever the ball is on the right side until the first baseman says, "Don't come over here any further," you run to the bag. So fundamentals failed the Yankees in that series, and that's
Nepotism. I learned that in Green Tree myself
There you
back
go.
at the Little League field. It's still there.
right. But in travel ball, they taught us go to the base. Pony league, go to
We
the base.
did that too. Yeah.
So as the pitcher, and fundamentals spoiled the Yankees' opportunity to win a World Series.
Hey, Mike Marker wants to sound in.
Okay.
Yankees never had a chance. Come on, be real.
No, they had a chance.
Well, he goes.
Game one was pivotal. And
Well, here's what he said: the Dodgers game where they just played the bullpen. Without that game, they sweep the Yankees.
Game one could have gone either way.
Our man Mike's from Aliquippa, so you
Right.
got that Pittsburgh blood in here.
And if Garrett Cole covers first base, they get out of that inning, and that's not 6 runs that they have to deal with. So.
Well, that's why we got our opinions
Right,
here.
yeah. They had
Thanks,
a chance.
Mike.
I'm
Yeah,
not
thanks for
gonna
putting it out
I'm not
there.
gonna go as far as to say that they didn't have a chance. They had a chance. They just they didn't do the fundamentals right.
No, and hey, it was a windfall for L.A. and Japan. Look at all the people
Yeah, sure.
watching.
Ohtani's a World Series champion.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, and spending almost $1 billion on a pitcher that can't pitch and a great hitter, set records. I mean, that's not a bad investment.
Can you imagine $700 million? No. No. Smoking can't imagine that. I'm done. That's all.
Mike Marker's reminiscing a little. Game 1, walk-off grand slam, Freddie Freeman.
In the 10th, the game was tied through regulation. So that's called, what I would call that for the Yankees was an opportunity to win that game. Yeah.
Nick loves the Yankees, Mike, so he just can't stop.
No.
And the control room, we're going to go about 2 minutes past because Smoking Jim's intro will be cut out.
No, we can't today.
Why?
We got to fit it into an hour.
Yeah, but his part's gone because we can't mention about what he mentioned.
Oh.
Yeah, that has to come out. Understood?
I don't know
We
what's
can
on.
keep
I
it-
forget what's on next. I think it's probably recording. Now I got it. You spoiled this one.
Well, let me just tell you, it's my show, and there's certain things that have to be cut out because we don't want that out in the public. It went on this,
I'll fill it with something else. We got to stop at 8.
so it's good. We'll stop at 1 hour.
I'll go quick. Mine's only a minute
Yeah,
long.
we'll go. Okay. Well, we're at 7:56. You can go 3 minutes, and I'll go a minute.
I
I'm
only
good
need about
because
one
I
and a half.
don't have on location anything.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, we're going Raging Roadie time now for 3 minutes.
All right, I'll go quick. I know I talked way too much at the beginning. My apologies.
I gave
but,
you permission. My show.
But
You're allowed
so,
to talk 3 minutes.
Real
Go
quick,
ahead.
I want to talk about about 20, 25 years ago, a very, very wise man named Vince Neil. You know who Vince
Yeah.
Neil is? Lead singer of Motley Crue. He had some, let's say, compromising footage go out there, as those things used to happen way back then, right?
Yeah.
And they said to Vince, what do you think about this? And he said, that's the game, man. You don't like it, get out. Fast forward, and I look today, and I'm seeing Jason Kelsey on TV apologize. let me tell you something. Go back 3 years. Outside of hardcore football fans, who even knew who Jason Kelsey was?
Exactly.
Right.
No one even knew who this guy was. Now all of a sudden, as soon as he retires, his brother starts dating one of the most famous people on the planet. Right?
Yeah.
Next thing you know, he's at a Buffalo Bills game with his shirt off, and everybody loves him. And now he's got podcasts and this and that and this and that. And now he's sitting in front of everybody apologizing for acting like an idiot. And first thing I thought of was Vince Neil. And
Hey,
Jason,
great point.
if you don't like it, get out. This is what the being a superstar is now. You get everything thrown your way, and you can't grab people's cell phones and slam them on the ground. If you don't like it, get out.
All right.
That's all I got.
Thank you, Mike. And you didn't talk too much. You were great on your segment. On location, 10 seconds. It'll be very short. And then Nick will work magic after the show. Scratch out, take out whatever I said in there, Nick. Thank you very much, Nick. Nick said I can have 4 minutes. I don't need much time, so it'll be an open discussion. On location, only future things possibly for next year. I am reaching out. I met a guy at my concert with Jessica Lee. It went very well. We filmed it. Nick Callis and Vinny was out there filming. What they did with the music and even the filming, he come up with something called a fade, not a haircut. And it just was amazing. And the band was great. You know, they were just great. The vocals were great by Jessica Lee. You've all seen the shows we've done and heard her. And the show just went very well, and it's at a very opulent place. Smoking Jim can look that up, and the Funkin' Wagnalls. And it was just a great event. And we're going to open it up for, like, any type of comments except negative ones. You can talk about some sports or what you think the Penguins are going to have to do. What do you think about the Pirates? What will the Steelers do with the Commanders is what I would like to start it off. Will the Steelers beat the Commanders the way they're playing?
Yes.
Okay, Smoking?
They'll beat them half to death. Rookie quarterback is
He's like C.J. Stroud.
yeah. Rookie quarterbacks are great except for when they face the Pittsburgh Steelers. They get a thing about rookie quarterbacks. Pittsburgh's well rested. They're going down there and they're going to treat the game like it should be. They're going to take the Commanders out.
So you guys are being traditional with Tomlin beating up the rookie quarterbacks.
I'm not going to say it just for that. I just have faith.
No,
in the
but I mean,
Steelers,
that's our
I guess
little
so.
mantra. Yeah.
I
Not
feel-
that that's the reason,
Yeah.
but it's part of it.
The
No.
Commanders are kind of shaky. I mean, they've done a lot of impressive
Well,
things.
look where they were and where they are now.
They also should have got beat by the Bears. So, I mean, just
Good point.
a freaky guy. What's his name? Who? That was one of the worst plays in the history of ever.
Yeah, I forget. Yeah.
What the heck's the guy's name? Stevenson something.
Yeah. I saw
You remember?
it.
I know
You
you're
know what
talking
we're talking
about.
about,
Yeah, I
right?
saw it.
There,
He's not infamous, not famous.
Infamous.
Yeah.
Yes. Terrible. You just keep taunting the crowd and then like,
And
oh,
doesn't
whoops,
get over to play
whoops,
defense.
the play's
at
going
times.
on and then it hit off his.
Amazing.
And, yeah.
Well,
Yes.
the Commanders this year got a great offensive coordinator, unlike that non-coach in Eric Bieniemy.
But you know what that kid Daniels can do is, he can read a defense. He throws the ball before people make
Oh,
their
great
breaks,
point
and
about
that's
reading
very
the
rare.
defense.
That's
Yeah.
very rare in a rookie quarterback. He throws people open. That scares me a
remember
little bit.
where
We're out of time.
Oh, sorry.
Are we?
We're just out of time.
All right, I'm glad we got that in there. It was going to be a heated discussion, but please stay Joey strong.